"Ah, this marriage will never take place," said Beauchamp. "The king has made him a baron, and can make him a peer, but he cannot make him a gentleman, and the Count of Morcerf is too aristocratic to consent, for the paltry sum of 2,000,000 francs, to a mésalliance. The Viscount of Morcerf can only wed a marchioness." "But 2,000,000 francs makes a nice little sum," replied Morcerf. "It is the social capital of a theatre on the boulevard, or a railroad from the Jardin des Plantes to La Râpée." "Never mind what he says, Morcerf," said Debray. "Do you marry her? You marry a money-bag label, it is true. Well, but what does that matter? It is better to have a blazon less and a figure more on it. You have 7 martlets on your arms. Give 3 to your wife, and you will still have 4 that Monsieur de Guise had, who so nearly became King of France, and whose cousin was Emperor of Germany." "On my word, I think you are right, Lucien," said Albert absently. "To be sure. Besides, every millionaire is as noble as a bastard. That is, he can be." "Do not say that, Debray," returned Beauchamp, laughing, "for here is Château-Renaud, who, to cure you of your mania for paradoxes, will pass the sword of Renaud de Montauban, his ancestor, through your body." "He will sully it, then," returned Lucien, "for I am low, very low." "Oh, heavens!" cried Beauchamp. "The minister quotes Béranger. What shall we come to next?" "Monsieur de Château-Renaud, Monsieur Maximilian Morrel," said the servant, announcing 2 fresh guests. "Now, then, to breakfast," said Beauchamp. "For, if I remember, you told me only to expect 2 persons, Albert." "Morrel," muttered Albert. "Morrel, who is he?" But before he had finished, Monsieur de Château-Renaud, a handsome young man of 30, gentleman all over, that is, with the figure of a Guiche and the wit of a Mortemart, took Albert's hand. Oh, man. Folks, I'm nervous and already a little exhausted, and we haven't even had these 2, not even new characters, I'll get to that in a second, say anything yet. Juggling 5 characters in conversation might be more than the talent of your lowly host here can handle. I'm going to do my best, folks. Please bear with me, and I'm going to do my damnedest not to make it cringy to listen to, finding some subtle way of differentiating who is saying what at any given time so that we aren't all confused. We have a lot to talk about with what happened today, but I also want to just acknowledge, I don't know if you felt it, but I certainly did while reading the Dumas biography, came to understand just how much he looked on social activity as part of his job, or maybe his job is what allowed him into these social activities in which he enjoyed, perhaps. I'm sure different biographers are going to argue different points, but my point is that I could tell Dumas kind of perked up at the thought of writing a scene where so many different personalities of high society can deliver witty bon mots to one another. This feels like he's writing specifically from his own experience and gets to showcase the witticisms that he was known for in his own social life. We are only the 2nd episode into a pretty long chapter, and I am willing to bet we're going to see a lot of wordplay and this banter just start to lift off the page. It's probably going to be pretty superfluous. I don't know that we'll need it all, but this seems to be where Dumas loves to place his flourishes. However, the big bombshell today, Maximilian Morrel, Monsieur Morrel's son, remember, who came back from the war to aid his father in his bankruptcy and like almost take his life with his, remember the darkness of that chapter? Jesus Christ. He's shown up to this, and yet Albert doesn't know who the heck he is. Now, there's a lot going on here that makes my ears kind of perk up, because Morrel arriving here is such an interesting choice. I mean, first of all, what's his connection, and how is it coincidental? Is it some sort of design that we're getting the son of Fernand, the daughter of Danglars, the son of Morrel, all coming together in a kind of social stew here? But how interesting is it that Maximilian was chosen to come to this breakfast where Dante presumably will show up 21st of May, 10:30 in the morning, where his experience with Dante is so fleeting that maybe it might like tickle the back of his brain of like, that guy seems maybe familiar, but not having such a direct enough experience with him as to recognize him when he sees him. Is this going to throw a wrench in Dante's plan? Is he part of Dante's plan? Taking 3 months to get things in order before meeting Albert here, is this part of what Dante is up to? Very curious. And I also say that I'm not sure, in the moment at least, what's worth commenting on and what's not as far as their kind of repartee is concerned. Like the whole back and forth of the amount of money that Albert would get, and that for less someone was almost made king. Is that going to be important, or is that just kind of conversational fluff that Dumas is throwing in here? I think maybe more importantly is that sliver of doubt that Albert will or won't marry the daughter of Danglars, as Beauchamp says at the very start of this passage. This marriage will never take place. But I bring up that kind of uncertainty over what's going to be important, because if we have such a long chapter, it's going to be hard to hold all of these conversational details in our mind, in my mind at least. So I'm not sure exactly what to clock as important to comment upon. But I suppose we shall find out as we continue through chapter 40. So until tomorrow, when we do a little bit more of this breakfast, you know what? I could go for like a vegetarian Benedict right now. That sounds kind of good to me. We'll find out what we're served tomorrow. Until then, okay, goodbye. The Countdown of Monte Cristo is part of the Gruntwork Podcast Network. This show is produced, edited, and hosted by Landon Solano. The original text of The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexandre Dumas. Theme song by Magic Solo. If you want to support the show and others like it, visit patreon.com/gruntworkpod. Thank you for listening. See you tomorrow.